Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Notorious Autosports. On this week's episode, I'm going to go over why I cut this giant hole in the bottom of the floor at Project Zero and how I plan about going to fix it. Alright, so I got my donor floor pan here, most of the way cleaned up, got all this, or as much undercoating as I could off with engine shampoo and power washer. I'll end up wire wheeling some of that. I want to try and test fit this up here. That will give me an idea of where I want to cut this floor pan along the edge. I do have a couple ideas in mind on how I want to go about that to get a nice tight fit along the edge. But for now, these seat bolt brackets and also this drain plug tab, they're kind of in the way, keeping that floor pan from butting up nice and tight. A little bit of this sheet metal is also kind of bent down. So I want to go around here, just do a rough cut, try and get rid of some of this that will allow me to be able to test fit that donor pan up even tighter and determine my final cut status there. So I'm going to get into that now. So I am cutting at 20 amps on the plasma. I have my standoff tip here, makes it nice and simple. Let's get cutting. You can actually hear that metal popping under tension. It's been stood on from the top a handful of times and it's just stretched that metal, and as soon as I put that relief cut there, it actually popped out. So it's a good thing I'm not just welding a strip in here. I don't think it'd be the right repair. Even if you were to try and stretch a lot of this up and push it back up, try and get it into its original position, I don't think it'd ever be quite right. Okay, so the one thing I find with a standoff in these ribbed portions, if you pull it a little too far back or you don't follow it quite tight enough, it loses the pilot arc. Just a little bit of learning curve of the machine. I'm by no means an expert with a plasma, but I have done a little bit of research, and one of the important things that everybody's saying is make sure your post flow runs before you shut the machine off. You need that air to flow through, cool that tip down. It's going to make your consumables last a lot longer. Fits pretty tight. I think we still got a little bit of bent metal. Some of these areas maybe are keeping it from seating quite all the way. I do see this little tab here even looks like it's bent itself. So I might do tiny bit more trimming. Even some of these pieces up here, you could hear it was popping and snapping, how much tension that was holding. And you'd think it being so close to the edge, there wouldn't be much there, but you'd be wrong. Oh yeah, much nicer. Do a little trimming and flattening on the edge of this piece. Test fit it again. Have a little bit of distortion just on this lip here from when it was heated, and then probably transportation. There's a couple variables there, so I'll give it a little tweak. Ah, much nicer fit. We're going to have a little variance too because we are overlapping this, and even the curve of the trans tunnel is going to pull this panel down a little bit. Keep it from seating quite fully, but once I figure out where I'm going to trim this, then we're going to get an even tighter fit. It's just all a bit of trim and fit, trial and error, and creep up on it rather than cutting a whole huge chunk out and realizing that's not the direction you wanted to go. Unfortunately, this pan does have a couple spots that got tweaked or wrinkled from the impact of the donor car, but it's clean and rust free. A little body hammer, a little massaging, it'll be just fine. So I got my piece fit up here now. I am glad that I left these in. It just makes it easier and nicer to try and square it up. Trimmed along the edges with the plasma. There's a little more of a gap than I would have liked to fill in with weld, but not bad. It just would have been nicer if it was a little bit tighter. Good spot to try it out though, because when I go to do the floor pan, I can make adjustments to try and make it a finer gap. Could also try and do it with a grinding wheel, a thin grinding wheel. That would definitely reduce the gap, so we might try that out. Experiment with a couple different things, but this is fit up nice in here on the sides. I can actually tack it and then go along the top and cut the top through both layers of metal, and you could do it 6 inches at a time actually, where you cut your piece, lay some tacks in there, and then cut some more, and that will keep things from getting deformed as far as your original metal to your new. Right now I think I'm gonna call it for a little bit here, maybe grab some dinner, and we'll see what happens afterwards. I might actually start welding in here. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I know there's not a whole lot of progress there. This is really time-consuming stuff. I'm particular about how I want this to turn out too, so it takes even longer. When I'm this far in, I really don't want to do any of that more than once if I don't have to, although there is some that I know I'm not going to be happy with first turnaround, and I'm going to go over it again. That's all part of it, but being this far in, again, I want to take my time. I want to do things as right as I can. I'm not a professional metal fabricator. I'm all self-taught. Again, welding, self-taught, so I'm going with what I've got, but I want it to be a presentable product when I'm finished up. So it takes a lot of time to get this far. Don't have a lot for you guys this week, but I hope you enjoyed what I do have. Stay tuned for more. Next week we're going to get back into the reconstruction part. I'll actually start seeing some progress, which would be exciting. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate your feedback, support, comments, and hope you guys have a great weekend.